Education never ends, and we believe it starts even way earlier than most of us think. On Android Gorgie, every Tuesday, 1 to 2 p.m., we unravel these various building blocks and its challenges that make you and I better versions of ourselves.
Yes, great. That's true. Oh. So that you look forward to it. So we're talking education on Today FM. It's we talk different conversations, and somehow you have these things coming at each other. You're talking economy, education, agriculture. You just highlight some of these things while you're having certain discourse, but specifically talking education every Tuesday, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. So, you say, oh, you don't have to speak, all right, I mean, orally, for people to hear you say a word, Queen, Chima. Sometimes you could just give a sign, and somehow you're communicating.
Exactly.
But most importantly, you're expressing ideas, enabling students, now we're talking students, to access information, participate in discussions, demonstrate their understanding, and ultimately impact their overall academic success. And I think this is sort of where the clause might be. But then we're going to get detailed into the conversation, looking at how we'll talk about the effects of Pidgin. English. Okay, sorry. My we'll talk about the effects of Nigerian Pidgin on effective learning. And I have joined me in this
introduction. Yeah.
Yes. I don't know if you want to put out something there.
Well, the truth is, with that language, I won't be learning. I think there's no way to overflood it.
Yeah.
Everything that has to do about learning passes through language. Communication. Okay. That's just the truth. Yeah. Because the truth is, you have symbols that you need to understand. Mm-hmm. Now, what people will say, the decoding and encoding. So you need to decode whatever that has been encoded for you to now put it back. So the process of learning education, the language is a key that we need to pay attention
to. All right, let me pick up from there. Yeah. You know, there's been this talk about the language to be used and then the flex of it. Mm-hmm. Oh, well, if you're communicating and I do not understand you, then you wasted your time. Yeah. And you come to the classroom and you said, I served in the East.
Okay, yeah.
And I got into the school, coming from the South, where I went through primary school for me. Yeah, primary school, secondary, tertiary, southern part of the country. Mm-hmm. And then I go to the east, the eastern part.
So you talk about the Igbo in the eastern part and then the southern now, Uniport. But my service, I went to Ekiti State, where it is purely Yoruba. And I have to teach literature in English.
Okay.
Exactly. Now I have two sets of body in the class, and this class is SS3. So it's not like it's SS1 where you could manage them, pamper them, and then get down to SS2 and they will open SS3. So it means they are about leaving, and they'll be writing WAEC soon. And I came at the time that they will soon write WAEC. So the whole stuff. Now I knew that the language would be an issue for me to communicate to those persons. Okay. So I had to employ other means of language. And the other means of language, what they will not understand in the language, through the play. Okay. That was one. Then two, I employed, of course, the next I employed was I make the environment to be same where if you don't know how to speak English, then the best, I don't understand what you're saying, I could ask somebody to interpret for me.
All right?
Right? Yeah. And the person, this is what he's saying. So, fine, good. But this is how you should say it. This is what you should do. This is how you should put it. So you begin to understand. So by that slow level of set of information that is understood, so you could pass the information in various channels. The problem we have when we come to the definition of communication, people just think is write up symbols in terms of writing or in terms of just speaking. No, any form that you could use to pass any set of information, and that information is under. Yeah, if you can use Igbo to teach in an Igbo environment, good. If you can use not Ogoni now, you have Thai, okay? You have Thai, you have Eleme, you have Gokana, you have Kana. In any of those places, and you can use any of those languages. Look.
So how can you not balance that?
Now look, let me tell you something. When people don't understand what you're teaching them, looking at is understanding the subject. Then before you now talk about producing what they have understood. There's a reason why from the primary school, they teach you how to write, maximize the languages we have in Nigeria. And it will not only be economically efficient for us, it will be efficient tourist-wise and otherwise. And in fact, every one of us will be able to speak multiple languages in Nigeria, and you don't need to go far. I have said it, and I will keep saying it. Now, so if you make those people understand it, okay, then it's easier for the person that is teaching them how to write in English to now show them the right thing to do, because they already know it. Now, the production won't be a problem, because what they'll be producing is what they've already understood. Now, if they can even write it in their languages, it's even fantastic. You know why? If they write it in their languages, it's easier for them to translate it in English.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think that's why you have cases where people can speak the language beautifully, but when it comes to,
they can't write it. So people can speak beautifully, they can't write it. Because speaking is different from writing. Now, writing is a skill.
Well, someone might just ask, what's the importance of writing the language?
It's
if very, you speak, then that's okay.
It's very important, because if you don't, English today was not done or was not communicated to us by just speaking. It was also communicated via writing. So many of us can watch movies without even, it's not bad English.
3 now. Let's begin with the first. You have more to add?
Yeah, so these are the basic misconceptions that people say, and I hear them talk about this severally. Okay, that Nigerian Pidgin is Pidgin English. And the reason why people say it's Pidgin English is because you have a lot of the English words into Nigerian Pidgin. So you say, because you have a lot of the base, basically right now you have variations. And the variation of English we speak in Nigeria is called Nigerian English. So if we speak Nigerian English and you now say we are speaking Pidgin English, so which are we actually English? Okay, and what people will call the Queen's English. So what we speak here, we don't speak Queen's English. We don't speak Queen's English. I can take it up anywhere. Now, for instance, you have...
Is it because it's not our first language? Is that why you're saying that?
1, it's not our first language. 2, there are several lexicons, words that we have into the Nigerian English. Now, the reason is because we do what, there are certain things we do here. We're not coining a word to have that reality. So when someone dies and you want to Eve, so there's nothing like Christmas Eve in Nigeria. What we know is Christmas.
Okay.
So when you begin to, there are a lot of them. You have apartment, and then you have face me, I face you. Okay. So you have some of those words in Nigerian English that have made it into Nigerian English vocabulary, but they are not.
Even some of them in pronunciation.
Yes. Everything. Yes. They are not part of the Queen's English.
So the second one you said, I think it's the third.
I said the Pidgin English is not broken language or broken English. Yes. You know, some persons speak some kind of when they structures. Nigerian Pidgin has its words. Again, it has borrowed words from various languages. It has borrowed words from English, yes. It has borrowed words from Nigerian languages, right? It has borrowed words from Portugal. It started as a Portugal English. Portugal Pidgin. So the base, the history of Nigerian can be traced down to the slave trade period. Communication means, or a communicating means between the Portuguese and the African descent. Now, when the African descents now gave birth and came back and all of that, okay, it now spread to all of these countries. Now, for Nigeria, because we were colonized by the British in the 15th century, meanwhile, Pidgin started in the 8th, so you can translate whatever, interpret whatever your people are saying to them, and then interpret what they are saying to the people.
Right.
So when you do that, now you now became that they became what I want to call a master of the go walk and all of that in Pidgin, but not written in the same form it is written in English.
All right.
For instance, walk in in English is WORK,
Yeah.
but it's WOK in Pidgin. So you see all of that, and you also have come are two different sentences. But you see some people who want to say, I dey come and I dey come, wait for me, I will soon be there. You didn't speak in Pidgin. In fact, what you just spoke is broken Pidgin. Okay. If we want to now go through this.
Wow. So yeah. we should start learning Pidgin then. So, well, we're talking about, if you just tuned in, we're looking at the effects of Nigerian Pidgin on effective learning. I guess, Josiah.
Why we are who we are. Okay, so in one of the places, study to show yourself approved, underline, not just study, but to show yourself approved. Now, a workman that needed to say rightly dividing the works is the effect. If I want to be an extremist, okay, I would say there is no negative.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Even
as a language advocate, I would say there is no negative, but let me not cause.
Yeah, because someone might say, "What?
Now,
why would you say there isn't?"
I'll tell you why. A lot of persons, I've heard this, I've seen this. A lot of persons say, when people learn, how many persons have actually written, "I am coming" as "I dey come"? Let's be frank with it.
Okay.
How many persons have actually written they say define communication?
Yeah.
How many persons have actually say communication na when person talk, I go come Sabia, come talk again. How many persons?
Some people say it affects your tenses.
Are you those languages with that of English? How many? But are there spellings? There are some spellings in your indigenous language that might look alike like a spelling in English.
Okay.
But you don't make the mistake in spelling that. You okay? You spell the right thing in English and not the one in your indigenous. I think became popular recently. Violence.
Okay.
Violence. Yeah.
The way it's spelled.
The way it's spelled. VAL. Yeah. Very good. And someone is a graduate, knows violence. In your paper, violence, and then you spell VA, then your W, and you're saying it is Pidgin that made you to spell VAW instead of VIO. Come on. So it means you don't even.
Some people develop accents.
My God. Say, forget those accents.
Okay.
Accent does not qualify you. In fact, accent does not give you approval of knowing.
So it's not your language, it's not your language.
It's not your language, it's not your language. Now, let me give you a shocker. So I made a study about English, and I found out that even in England, if you don't go to school, okay, when you know Pidgin, it affects the way you speak English.
Yes, I've heard that too.
When you know Pidgin, it affects the way you write. When you know Pidgin, it affects the way you communicate. All languages.
Okay.
It helps you understanding better.
All right.
Yeah, and Pidgin is part of our language. In fact, it's a language. Right now, it has grown to the level of being called a language. First dictionary in what was called Nigerian is online. If you type Nigerian Nigerian English,
Okay.
the dictionary you will see is actually a documentation of Nigerian Pidgin. Okay, words communication and understanding. That's the same way Nigerian Pidgin also help in learning. Now, when you know Nigerian Pidgin and you also know English, you will know the differences between Nigerian Pidgin and English. And you will also understand the right form of tenses to use when writing English and when writing Pidgin. People think Pidgin is simple until you begin to write. It's difficult. There are people that have learned it, yet they don't want to write it because it's difficult. There are certain words you will just say out in English. When you now come to Nigerian Pidgin, you will now know that there's a difference between come and and come, as they say it.
Okay, so but in classrooms though, I don't know. I think a number of schools would not even permit that.
Now, Nigerian Pidgin breaks down subjects. That's what most people don't understand. Yeah, let me share something with you. When you're teaching, let's say mathematics, let's say addition, for instance.
Yes.
And you begin to tell people that when you add 1 plus 1 now equals 2.
Yes.
Sometimes most of those persons may not understand it.
Okay.
But when you tell them, if you carry 1 orange, you can't carry another orange, come put them. How many orange will you see? They will, because they understand put and put them.
Yes.
How many you they see? You they see. They will shout 2 immediately. You know why? Because you break down, it's a picture you have painted.
And people understand.
And people understand in pictures. Yes, faster than when you just tell them 1 plus 1.
Yeah.
Okay, so because you've broken it, they will tell you 2. You will not bring it back and say exactly. That's what it means when you say 1 plus 1. You will see they will just get it that 1 plus 1 is 2. But because in the classrooms we have created an embargo to Nigerian English, Nigerian Pidgin. So that embargo do not allow the teachers to, create those images using Pidgin so that the students will understand it better, and then you cannot translate it to them again in English for them to understand that, okay, 1 plus 1 is equals 2. Okay. And when you're saying 1 plus 1, the image you are saying is
orange and
yeah, I don't put 1 orange, I don't carry another orange, put them together. You see, once that is done, they will pass their exams.
So for some people, so you're trying to say you're making learning simplified.
Make learning simplified. Is that not the reason why we should even? Is that not the reason why we should go to school and learn?
Okay.
So why should I come to school? And you see, it's funny, some persons go to school and what they do is to learn the big grammars and begin to speak big grammars. High sounding words, and nobody understands what you're saying.
Okay.
It doesn't make any meaning.
All right, but so this idea, because you're taking us to a perspective that you're saying is going to foster effective learning. The idea that Nigerian Pidgin, it's a taboo for some people.
Exactly. Yeah.
Schools.
Yes.
So
yes.
Parents could even get the child to speak Pidgin and then go to the school and ask the school, "What are you doing? Why would my child even have this word in his or her mouth to use?" And it's like a taboo.
Yeah.
And you're saying that the ability of any child, any student or people to even be versatile, learn different languages,
helps the child's understanding. IQ. Yes. It helps the child's IQ. It helps the child to understand a lot of things better. In fact, it has been proven that teaching the child in the language the child understands better or relates to better help the child to communicate faster, learn better, and produce better. So if and funny enough, you just can't run away from Nigerian Pidgin.
And some people say it's a language for the streets.
Look, when people want to create a bad or negative image to something,
they go to any extent.
All right. They bring us stuffs. Now, and that's the reason why Nigeria have not made any effort to look at this language and introduce it into the school system. Why are we still holding it? Why not introduce it into the school system? Okay, if you say a lot of persons can come up with anything, some people now create a structure that can be enhanced later by people. So you know that if it is the instead of DE, we are spelling as DEY. Yes. Instead of some people spell people as PIPO or PIPU. You've seen that. Yes. Okay. So we could say, okay, people can be PIPO. Yes. Okay. And we run with that. So if we are also adopting the PIPU, we know that was a variation of
on the market, and then you begin to hear the Nigerian Pidgin.
We have professors and all of that tune into media houses, Pidgin media houses. If I tune into theory.
All right, let's get the listener into the conversation now. We've really talked about. You've highlighted how important it would help in effective learning. You think it would tremendously help?
Yeah.
People from them, like this King James English, thou knowest, thou wantest, willst, and all that. Is that English? Where is it?
English has evolved over time.
Where we are using it in England, English, who gave us a King James.
Any location?
Hello, Queen.
Yes, good afternoon.
Afternoon. This is Tony also.
All right then.
Yeah, Queen, I want to ask a question or questions. I heard you when you say nobody does, right?
Yes.
But for me, I think being able to speak Queen's English is that ability to to speak it the way the Englishman would.
And it's very good. When he makes certain statement, the one by his side that have been here, okay, that have learned some of the Nigerian English version of the Nigerian version of English language.
American English and the British English.
So we should not even start going over that. So that's even another thing altogether. American English and so if you even go there and you say, okay, someone that speaks American English, is he speaking Queen's English? No, it's not. In Nigeria, we have Nigerian English, and we've gotten a lot of stuff into. Do you know that some persons, while speaking Nigerian English, now say Biko?
Yeah. Yes.
I am coming Biko. Is Biko part of Queen's English? Exactly, it's not. But it has been accepted as part of Nigerian English because somehow we have accepted it as a word.
It's spoken English.
Exactly, as a word. And it's Nigerian English.
All right, so
that's why they call it. Queen's English came from London. It's a London dialect of English language. Now, there are basically two dialects. The London dialect and I think the Normandy dialect. Now, the English guys protected the London dialect, which is the Queen's English. Go to their school, learn English. Yeah, sorry. Before you go, let me say this. Yes, in 30 seconds. If we say we speak Queen's English, how come we still write the English test when we want to go over there?
Pidgin, officially.
I just hope they will do that.
And I'll see how many